All right, guys, we got a new addition to the garden. Can you guess what we got in the box here? I'm excited. As most of you know that have kept up with my grow, I personally am on Team SIP. Any kind of sub-irrigated planter, any way that we can water the plant from below. Definitely seems to work well in all different scenarios, whether you're organic, synthetics, but being able to allow the plant to drink that water down there, we're gonna allow the plant to have clean water below, our top dressing up top, kind of how naturally it would be, right? We'd have, our breaking down organics would be up top, clean water source at the bottom. In the case of synthetics, you would be able to, mix up your nutrients in a reservoir and allow that to soak up from the bottom. So there's a lot of awesome benefits and kind of how you can change your grow style up a little bit. One thing that I've found, and I think anybody else that you'll talk to, is allowing the plants to drink from below and having kind of that unlimited supply of water to allow it to drink however much it needs to. The plants definitely love it, and you will find that you're probably not watering as much as you would think or as much as they would need. So having some sort of tool to help you with that is definitely a benefit, I think, for your garden. As you know, I use earth boxes. That's kind of my go-to. But I found something a little while ago that I really enjoyed, and it's AutoPots. In this case, I've got an AutoPot Tray2Grow. These things are really awesome. You've got a wide variety of things that you can use with them. So you could use a bed. There's folks out there like New Moon Grows. He's got some. You also have companies like Grassroot Pots. Grassroots, they make all different sizes. You can get a bed for this. I think the beds are somewhere around 27 gallons. Of course, you could also get a bed straight from AutoPot. That's always an option. But you could also utilize smaller pots in here. And in this case, for what we're going to be using, they're going to be for smaller pots. I have used a bed before. I stunted the fuck out of the autos that I grew in there. So that was on me. But there's so many awesome ways to be able to utilize this piece of equipment. Let's go down and open it up. I've got it fresh in the box here, so I want to show you kind of what to expect and what you're going to be getting out of this AutoPot Tray2Grow system. Maybe some tips on how to set it up and kind of what to look for and what you may be getting yourself into. So let's dive down, check out what we got in the box, and open this brand spanking new one up. I am a little bit limited on space, so this may get a little wonky, but we're going to work with what we got. Let's open this box up and see exactly what we get with a Tray2Grow system. That is everything. I remember when I first got my original Tray2Grow system, they had their nice branded box and everything. I guess they've stopped doing that. I bought this probably about a month or so ago now, so I'm wondering if this is their new packaging. Not that I like the other packaging, but I'm used to that box where it kind of showed a whole bunch of different stuff on it. Either way, this is how I got mine. I did buy it directly from AutoPot. Got a little sticker right there. This was something extra that I had bought, so this isn't related to this, but this is what you would need to join two trays together. They do put plenty of packaging, little bumpers around here as to not get it banged up too much, I imagine. We've got all the unnecessary crap out of the way. Let's pop this open and see what we got here in the goodies. We got another sticker here. Lots of literature, all the goodies that you can spend your money on to make your gardening experience wonderful. So here's our bag of goodies. That's kind of what they had on the box from what I recall. They had a bunch of the different pictures and whatnot. Yep, so these are all different kind of where to go from here, setting them up, the different variations that you could have, and kind of what to expect. So good guide there. This is the valve, the aqua valve. Really cool system. I can't really say that I know a bunch about it, but you've got a couple different things going on here. So this will allow the tray to flood, and then once it's flooded, it's not going to refill until this system has then came back down, and then it will allow that water to go back into the tray. So it's a really, really cool system that they have here. We've got our capillary mat, and then we've got our copper little barrier. This is supposed to stop roots from growing through to your capillary mat. I feel like with my bed, I definitely had some roots growing through it. I'll show you my old one. It is no longer copper looking, but it should still be doing its job. Now they give you an important notice here. Always ensure that the top silicone is pushed as far into the hole, the flat top of the aqua valves, as possible. That's definitely one of the big things that I've heard from a lot of people saying. Definitely get you some extra silicone and the parts that are moving because they do have a chance to kind of break down. So I have yet to heed that warning. So we are living wild over here. This is the system. Pretty simple. All you have is a tray, right? You've got a cap that's going to go over where your aqua valve is going to sit. And then you got all these ridges and then this platform that sits up here. Now, one of the important things for this system to work properly is making sure that you are level, because we don't want it lifting up too much on one side and all of our water is only going to be going into, you know, half the tray, or if it's like this, it's going to be leaning a little bit. So definitely important to do that. The other components that we have with this is going to be our line that we are going to feed to a reservoir. We've got a shutoff. So if you do not want anything going to your aqua valve, or you've got a couple trays in the mix, you will be able to shut that off so it is not allowing it to get to your valve there. The other thing we have here is a little grommet. If we were growing outside, we would want to have that little itty bitty hole that we have right here to be open. And what that's going to do is allow excess water. If you were to have a heavy rain, that's going to allow it to escape out. Since we're inside, we're just going to go ahead and put that in place. Just like that, that grommet's going to go in there to fill that rain hole, just in case we were to get a heavy rain. The other piece we have, this is going to be the grommet that is going to go in the side of our tray housing, and this will just create a more watertight seal so you don't have to worry about it leaking. Now we are to the brains of the operation. This is what does everything that makes it special, right? This is the valve. You're gonna find the little half circle right there. You're gonna find that post, and those are going to match up, and you would push this down. Before we get into that, let's make our life a little easier. Thinking ahead, we're gonna put that grommet on there and pull it back just a little bit. Put it through the hole, and then we're gonna get our valve all set up. We're putting that over the tube, and then we're gonna take this and squish her on there. Boom. So now we've got that on there. We're going to bring that back up, and we're going to tighten it down, and that's going to keep our hose on there. Now from here, we're taking this aqua valve, pushing it down so it is good and secure on that post. Not going to move. It's going to hold it exactly where we need. Just like that. This will allow that water to fill up in there, and it's going to create that little reservoir underneath our pots. Let's get this pushed in there. We're riding on the struggle bus, we're driving it, but this is good because that means that's going to create a nice seal right in there, so we don't have to worry about water leaking out. And then we've got our aqua valve cover. Easy enough. Let's move on to the next step. For this next part, we are going to be getting the capillary mat in place, and you'll notice it's just a little bit too big for the tray. They planned it that way. There's something we've got to do to prep this. what I've found is this can be a little bit of a pain in the butt to work with when it's dry. So I'm gonna fill my chapin up. We're gonna get this soaked and I'll show you what we're gonna do. So let's get some water on there, making sure that it's not soaking wet, but it's wet enough that it's a little bit more manageable. So like I was saying, you'll find that obviously it kind of hangs to either side a little bit more than it does, a little bit more than you would think it should, but they did that for a reason. And I find the easiest way to set this up is to pull it back just a little bit, butt it up against right there. And then what you're doing is you're wanting to route this into that little channel. So we've got that first one running across there. We've got one more to do. Boom. So there you go. We now have the capillary mat sitting within the tray. Everything's nice and right up to the edge. We've got the couple of channels that has the capillary mat down into our water area. And this is what's actually going to be doing the wicking. Obviously, if we were just to allow this to fill up and then we put our pots on this tray, it's not going to do much. So not only is that really doing, you know, kind of the brains of the operation, but this is really what's allowing your plants to now wick that water up. Then we've got our copper mat. This is going to be the root barrier that is going to stop the roots from growing through. Like I said, if I remember correctly, my bed did have some roots growing through this, or at least it was enough where they were creeping along the side there and coming through. I don't believe it matters whether you have the black side or the copper side up. I like the copper side because I think it looks cool, even though we're about to put all the stuff on it. But that's pretty much more or less all set up. Obviously, we don't have a reservoir in place right now. You can buy a reservoir with it, but this is kind of the basic setup. You got your valve, some tubing, tray, cap. You've got your capillary mat, and you've got your root barrier. And then, of course, our on and off if you want to control each individual pot by itself. Like I said, it comes with all kinds of different literature on how to set up a couple different, variations that you could do with it on, how to set things up exactly. I don't think we really followed directions, but I was willing to kind of just get into it. So, and of course, our fancy little stickers. So, not a bad little setup. I can't remember exactly how much it is, but it is a reasonable price for what you're doing. All right, y'all. Well, that was just a quick little video of an unboxing of the AutoPot Tray2Grow system. It is a really awesome piece of equipment. I have not used it quite as much as some other folks may have. I have used it on a, like I was saying, a bed. Didn't have great results, but that was my personal issue. I'm very excited for this next round. I'm going to be utilizing some small pots on this. Like I said, there's so many different ways to use this. I think it's something that if you guys aren't bottom watering or have some sort of sub-irrigated planter or anything of that variant, definitely encourage you to try it. It's a lot of fun. The plants love it. I think you'll find that it's got explosive growth. It's just one of those little hacks for your garden. So I definitely encourage you guys, Maybe not just a AutoPot system, but maybe some other ones, again, like the sub-irrigated planters. Definitely give them a check out. Make your own, whatever it is. Start butt chugging your plants. That's it, y'all. Peace.